Okay. Welcome to the Say Cheese platform, Dr. Kokil. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me over. It's a privilege to be part of such an excellent initiative, and I'm happy that I'm able to contribute in whatever little way I can.
I'm sure you're being very modest, and there's a lot more contribution that you can do. And before we completely get started and immersed into the topic, let me start with introducing you to our audience, and then we can take it from there. Does
Sure.
that work?
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful. I have a lovely bio in front of me. Dr. Kokil is a professor of marketing at FIIB New Delhi, management with over 18 years of experience in teaching and research. Her work has been published in top ranked journals, including Journal of Business Research, Journal of Product and Brand Management, Journal of Consumer Marketing, Australasian, Journal of Information Systems, Journal of Global Information Management, Online Information Review, to name a few. She is the guest editor for special issues with the Journal of Business Research, ABDC-A Ranked, International Journal of Information Management, International Journal of Technology and Human Interaction, and Journal of Promotion Management. She and her team are also the recipients of the AIM-Sheth Foundation Research Grant 2020 in Management Strategy. That's a lot of writing work, Dr. Kokil. You've
Thank
been
you
very busy.
indeed.
You've been
Yes,
very
indeed.
busy.
Yes, indeed. But let me tell you, research is something I'm very passionate about, and it has taken a lot of effort for me to reach a position that I can literally say I'm proud of.
Wonderful.
And definitely, I enjoy being a researcher and academician. It's a wonderful place to be in.
Wonderful. Lovely to hear that. So, starting on the topic, imposter syndrome. So, Dr. Kokil, can you tell us before we really get deeper into it, what exactly is imposter syndrome?
Okay, when I was asked what I would like to speak on, would I reflect on my own story, and therefore I was trying to find out a topic which reflects the challenges that I might have faced while I was moving ahead in my career, and something which is prevalent and which probably most of us experience and we are not able to identify. So you'll be surprised to know that if I loosely define it, it is doubting your own abilities and feeling that you're a fraud, and all your accomplishments are an outcome of some random luck or some prayers that were done by your parents or some donation that you did in the past. And you would be surprised to know that it is more prevalent in people who are high achieving or who have good accomplishments um, uh, to to boast about. And also it is more prevalent in women. I think as women we doubt our own abilities multiple times, and when something comes up we are so unsure about it, and tend to reflect inside ourselves that whether it is an outcome of what I truly deserve or what I truly uh, is capable of, rather than it's a chance kind of a thing.
Right.
And it was discovered by psychologists Pauline Rose and Suzanne Imes in 1978. And their study was specifically focusing on high achieving women.
Hmm.
So that was some brief. I don't want to get deep into the research of it, but then broadly speaking, yes, high accomplishing individuals, primarily women, of course, but it is prevalent in men also. So you self doubt your accomplishments, you attribute those accomplishments to chance, to luck.
Understand. So, yeah, you said specifically to high achieving individuals, but
Yes.
then it's also more broad based. It can be,
Yes,
right?
of course.
So typically, in your experience, did you face, because I know you've done a lot, but did you face imposter syndrome, and how did you, before we come on to, a variety of people, like what were your personal experiences with it?
See, let me tell you, it is not something which is like a fever. It will come once and it will never ever come back, or it's not a disease which once treated will go back. It is
Yeah.
something which probably we end up facing multiple times, but how we deal with it changes over time. So of course, I'm into academics and I come from a family of academicians, accomplished academicians. My father retired uh, from a very high position in education, and therefore this there was always this underlying pressure to perform and do good, even if nobody was telling you. And when you are amongst such accomplished people, automatically sometimes you tend to realize that you are not good enough. uh, of course, I worked through my career and moved to a position, and when I was transforming into publishing my research, there was a lot of self doubt that I had about myself. And when my first paper was published in a top journal, I went back and I said, okay, is it true? Is it because something somewhere worked for me? Is it something will I keep on replicating in times to come? Will I continue publishing good work? And let me tell you, it is still it still persists. I've recently joined a new organization, and they've been very good, very supportive. But then, yes, when I was joining, there was this unsaid doubt about the way they have evaluated me, the way they want me to work. Will I be able to deliver? Will I
Yes.
be able to meet the expectations? So, yes, I think in my own life, multiple times I have been through this imposter syndrome kind of a thing. When somebody said, oh, that lecture of yours was brilliant, I go back and say, oh, was it me? And they're talking about. So, yes, so a lot of self-doubt, which sometimes lead to imposter syndrome. But yes, I've dealt with it. I've come out strongly um, every time while I was trapped into it. But yes, it's a constant journey. It is something which we all continue facing throughout our life.
Okay, okay. So, how do you manage to stay positive and, how do you deal with it really? Because you said it doesn't just come once, it might just come in different stages, in different ways across your career or, different stages of life. So, how does one deal with it?
Yes, see, it is not only one, only it is not only an individual who is responsible with dealings with such kind of challenges. It is also the kind of environment you are part of. And when we talk about organizations today, there are a lot of researchers which says that, when we talk about accomplishments, or when we talk about a perfect fit for a particular role, sometimes we reward overconfidence or we reward arrogance. Yet these traits have been found to be inversely related to leadership talent, and you'll realize that men tend to be more confident about who they are and women tend to be underconfident about who they are. So what apart from an individual working in this direction, I think it is also very important that the organization should realize that it is not only about being arrogant or being very confident about who you are. Sometimes a person who is not very vocal about his or her thoughts can be equally contributing to the team. So, for example, in my workplace, there is this gender charter, and it is something which provides a lot of equality for everyone, a lot of voice to everyone. So I realized that once I've joined this organization, there is a lot of things that I'm doing. My voice is being heard irrespective of the dominance of males around me. So I think, of course, it is an individual journey, but together, the family, the people who are around, especially when children are growing, they have all these self doubts about themselves. It is very important that people who are part of their lives should ensure that they're being heard, they are being constantly told that yes, they're good enough, they can do this, they can move forward, they can accomplish things. So I think it's more than an individual, it is more about how others or what kind of environment the individual is part of. And yes, I have dealt with it because uh, you know uh, you tend to become addicted of your own success, and you want to let that success continue, therefore you work hard. So yes, I dealt with it, but I faced it, but I dealt with it in the fact that I continue working towards my goals. I never stopped. That self doubt never stopped me into doing things which I always wanted to do, moving ahead and taking chances or challenges. For example, coming here and talking to you, there was always this thing, okay, should I go and talk about things which are important to me? Am I good enough for people to look up to and say, okay, fine, we somewhere relate to her journey? Is my journey good enough to talk about it? So the point is that yes, you have to break all those things and say, okay, let's try, give it a try, let's do it. And somewhere you will self discover yourself, and also discover your own uniqueness.
Yeah.
um, so that's how I faced it. And of course, I'm very lucky to be working in organizations. We have been very supportive of who I am as an individual, and my family, of course.
Speaking of organizations, you work in a you're a teacher and you're a professor, and you interact with a lot of young women on the cusp of their careers, or um, um, how does it affect them, the whole imposter syndrome? And what is the kind of advice you will give women who are just starting out in their careers, or just at the cusp of youth? What kind of an advice would you like to give them?
See, we are in a society where there are already a lot of stereotypical um associations that exist, you know. And therefore, as women, we need to understand those stereotypes and tend to overlook them also. Many a times we have an idea and we are so reluctant to speak about it. So I think for young women, I should say, be accept who you are, be confident about your own existence. And thankfully, we are right now at a time when women are being the contribution of women are being spoken about. They are being treated equally in families and organizations. So I think this is exactly the time when all the lack of confidence one has about himself or his or her own abilities should be kept aside, should take a back seat. And even if that's not leading to a positive outcome, even if nobody is listening to you, I think it's very important to express who you are as an individual, and make sure that the capabilities that you possess, you know. So first of all, it is very important for me to buy my own capabilities, realize that yes, I have it in me, till I talk about it to the outside world. So I think it comes with a lot of confidence, and acceptance of who you are. Today women are more concerned, many women are still struggling with, concepts like physical appearances, or not able to communicate effectively. And there's so many issues which are already prevalent in their lives. So my advice would be to first accept yourself, accept your flaws, accept your strengths. And that is what makes you unique. You cannot be a replica of um, Princess Diana, or anyone for that matter. You are who you are, and that's your power. I believe that this individuality is the most powerful thing that you possess. And therefore accepting it, and then moving ahead with it, uniquely telling the world how you can contribute and what is your individual idea, what is your individual strength, is very very important to realize. Sometimes, we are towards end stages of our life, and we don't even realize what we are good at. I discovered my passion for research when I was in my late 30s, which was too late for me actually, because I had so many self doubts and I thought that I'll not be able to do good research. So if at a young age I'm able to understand that, I think things will be very very different for me.
Very nice, Dr. Kokil. I love the part about how our individuality is our power, and
Yes.
and that's really what we should be proud of. I mean, I absolutely love that part, and um, you know, unfortunately, so many of us are not trying to be ourselves, in order to be somebody
Yes.
else, and
and
that's where all the confusion happens.
and just to add on, I really want to quote, and I'm a big fan of Professor Adam Grant, and I follow him blindly, and read all what he says. And he has shared a very interesting study, and he says that women are often told to avoid weak language. That okay, you need to be very harsh and very strong and very straightforward. Sometimes we are being told, oh, you're too weak to tell anybody to do anything, so therefore you cannot be a leader. But he did research and he found that around 29 studies says that talking tentatively doesn't reflect a lack of assertiveness, it's a sign of interpersonal sensitivity. And that's what the uniqueness of women is. The way we talk, the way we are sensitized to somebody else's need is our power. So rather than becoming what men are and what men are good at, we need to realize who we are and what and how we can contribute.
Wonderfully spoken, Dr. Kokil. I mean, we would love to have you again on our platform and, just maybe elaborate on this topic, and especially for young women who are starting out in their career.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Lovely. Lovely to be here. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. Thank
Thank you.
you. More power to the platform.
Thank you.